What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, we got what seems to be more confirmation of the highly anticipated undisputed welterweight showdown between Terrence Bud Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. happen in July. Now we have lightweight Mexican superstar title contender Isaac Pitbull Cruz and his father confirming that they are going to be the co-main event to Terrence Bud Crawford fight. Okay, so Isaac Pitbull Cruz and his dad are now saying that they have been confirmed. Right, Isaac Cruz, 24 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 17 wins by way of knockout, 24 years of age, 5'4" with a 63-inch arm reach, is now claiming that he's going to face off against an undefeated fighter as the co-main event, and it's 80% done their fight, and it's Giovanni Cabrera. Okay, they're claiming now that they're going to fight Giovanni Cabrera. 21 wins, no losses, no draws, 7 wins by way of knockout. He is 28 years of age, orthodox fighter, 5'9" with a 71-inch arm reach, out of Chicago, Illinois. Okay, so they're claiming that he just beat Gabe Flores Jr. in July. Okay, July 2022. He won a unanimous decision, 10-round unanimous decision over Gabe Flores Jr. And so now they're claiming that he is the front runner to fight Isaac Pitbull Cruz as the co-main event. And they are saying it's going to happen July 22nd. So he's saying, Isaac Pitbull Cruz's father is saying that they're going to be the co-main event July 22nd for Terrence Crawford Errol Spence fight. Now we know most recently we had Frank the Ghost Martin. He came out and he stated that he'll be back in action July 15th. So maybe, a week later, we're going to get Terrence Crawford Errol Spence fight, which really doesn't make much sense because, Frank Martin is a Man Down Promotions Errol Spence fighter. So it would behoove Errol Spence to have his fighter on his undercard and get as much exposure as possible. Okay. But with that said, Isaac Pitbull Cruz's father, okay, is now saying that, they are 80% done and being confirmed 100% that they're going to be the co-main event for Terrence Crawford Errol Spence. But they're saying 80% is going to be Giovanni Cabrera as their opponent, but that still has not been solidified. It's almost 80% done. Okay. Again, we had Bernie Labasa, who's close friends with Terrence Crawford. He came out and he said he believes it's going to happen in July. We had Frank Martin, he made sentiments that, indicated that the fight could be happening in July. And now we have even more confirmation from Isaac Pitbull Cruz's father, and I see Pitbull Cruz, they're saying that they are the co-main event to Terrence Crawford Errol Spence. And it looked like Giovanni Cabrera is going to be his opponent. I don't understand why we just can't get Frank Martin versus Isaac Pitbull Cruz as the co-main event to Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. That's a big fight. That would be a huge fight, a huge co-main event fight. And then the rest of the card, you can actually just pack out the rest of the card. It doesn't really. Now I want to see solid, good fighters and fights on the undercard. But for the rest of the card, if you got Frank Martin versus Isaac Cruz, and you have Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, well, that in itself is enormous. Okay, that would be huge. So Frank Martin is 17 wins, no losses, no draws, 12 wins by way of knockout, 28 years of age, 5'8" with a 68-inch arm reach, and he's a southpaw. That would be a massive fight. I see Pitbull Cruz versus Frank the Ghost Martin as the co-main event would be huge. That would be huge for the sport of boxing. It would be huge for this card. That would guarantee that this card does 1 million pay-per-views. For one, you got Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence, 2 top 5 pound for pound best fighters in the world in the height of their career for undisputed, all the marbles, both are undefeated. Somebody's going to take their first loss on that night. And both guys are very brutal in the ring. So neither guy is just a pure boxer and a strategic technician. No, both of them are rough and rugged. Terrence Crawford has knocked out and stopped 12 of his last 13 opponents. And Errol Spence is dominating, destroying people as he just did with your Danish Ugis, breaking his ribs, nose, and orbital bone in a unification bout. So it's safe to say that there's not going to be a lack of entertainment in that fight, and there's possibly could be a knockout, definitely a knockdown, and we're going to get nonstop action throughout the fight, and we don't know who's going to win. It's a 50-50 fight. And then if you put Frank Martin versus Isaac Pitbull Cruz, Isaac Pitbull Cruz is a come forward thumper, who's aggressive and entertaining. And Frank Martin, his style, he has now adopted the style of Errol Spence and Jamel Charlo, the Derrick James model. And he's coming forward. He's aggressive, but he can also box and he can move. So that makes for another entertaining fight, right? Very entertaining fight. And then you can pack out the rest of the card with some names that are notable names on the rest of the card that will entertain the fans. And it don't have to be the biggest fights, the biggest matchups, just entertainment overall. I believe that 1,000% would secure this fight being a 1 million pay-per-view buys. Okay. I think this fight is highly anticipated. I think that the boxing world can't wait. I think it's the biggest fight in boxing. I thought it was the second biggest fight at one point in time to Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua for heavyweight undisputed. But this has now replaced it as the biggest fight in boxing. And people are clamoring for it. They're anticipating it. They can't wait. And you put this fight on and you put Frank Martin versus Isaac Pitbull Cruz. This is no slight to, Giovanni Cabrera, because he's an undefeated fighter. He's big. He's a southpaw. He's slick. He's coming off a big win against Gabriel Flores Jr. So he's definitely game, and he's undefeated, like I said. So him versus Isaac Cruz, but he's more of a mover and a boxer, but he can be aggressive when he want to. And so him versus Isaac Cruz is still definitely a big fight, but none would be bigger than that. Wouldn't be bigger than Frank Martin versus Isaac Pitbull Cruz, right? That would be absolutely huge. So with that said, it seems like we're inching closer to getting an announcement for Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence. Finally, this has been a long time in the making, and the fans are starting to get restless. So I think it's happening at the right time, because if it wait too long, if it gets past the summer, fans are going to start to lose a lot of interest in this fight. Tons and tons of interest in this fight. So I think it's happening at the perfect it's I think that we have the perfect matchups. And I think that, like Isaac Cruz, his dad said that, it's only 80% that they're going to fight Giovanni Cabrera. So if that's the case, then, that means there's 20% chance that they could walk away from it. And it's a bigger chance that we could get Isaac Cruz versus Frank Martin. It's a test for both. Isaac Cruz, he got his name got enormous. It got big when he lost to Gervonta Tank Davis, superstar boxer, but he was competitive in the fight. And because he was competitive against Tank Davis, he didn't get knocked down and he didn't get knocked out. And he hit Tank Davis with some clean, big punches at times. Many people wanted to see him in more and more fights. Frank Martin started late, but he just came off 2 big wins over Michelle Ali Rivera, and he beat Jackson Marinez. So, those are 2 big wins for Frank Martin. So now this would be the ultimate test for both guys. Isaac Cruz has never fought for official world title. He fought for Tank Davis's regular belt, and Frank Martin has never fought for a world title. So this would solidify both of them, in my opinion, for, official title contenders and official stars in the sport of boxing that got next. So, that would be a huge matchmaking. I personally think that, the pressure of Isaac Cruz would bother Frank Martin, but I think the athletic ability, the movement, the boxing ability, the ring IQ of Frank Martin will overcome Isaac Pitbull Cruz. Hence the reason they didn't have any interest in fighting Shakur Stevenson, because they said he simply moved too much. I think that would be a serious problem. The same issue with Frank Martin, because make no mistakes about it, he can be very slick, hence the nickname The Ghost. He can be very slick. He can avoid punches, and he can be very elusive. And he has quick feet and quick hands, and he has respected power. So he can keep Isaac Cruz honest, but he can move enough to stay away from him. And that will bother Isaac Pitbull Cruz, because he's flat-footed. He comes forward and he's aggressive, but he's very short at 5'3", with a 63-inch arm. Frank Martin is 5'8", So he's 5 inches taller. See, Tank Davis is only 5'5", so he was only 2 inches taller. Frank Martin is a whole 5 inches taller with a 5-inch arm reach. So that would play a major part in that fight, and his movement and his power would play a major issue for Isaac Cruz. But let's see how this unfolds and plays out. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. That's all I got for y'all. It's your boy Blue signing off. I'm gone. Peace.
You're watching Blue Blood Sports TV. Wow.